Let's face it, life isn't easy. If you're stuck in a bad relationship, betrayed or afraid of tomorrow, financially insecure, or desperate for a breakthrough, you've come to the right place. Dr. Carmen Harra is a renowned psychologist, intuitive, relationship expert, and best-selling author, and she's here to give you the miracle guidance you need. Her new call-in show, Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life, offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Dr. Harra's show aims to eliminate everyday problems, big and small, with topics like healing your relationships, reclaiming your power, achieving better health, dealing with loss, and so much more. Regain the joy, stability, and fulfillment you deserve to feel. Tune in to Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life with host Dr. Carmen Harra, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and find the answers you've been looking for.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life. I'm Dr. Carmen Harra, and tonight we are going to focus on improving your mental health, because mental health is a growing crisis around the globe right now. There is a direct link between healthy mind, healthy body, and a happy life. Because good physical health begins with good mental health. So your mind dictates your overall well-being. You can't have one if you don't have the other, because your thoughts play a big role in how your body functions. In other words, what you feel determines how you feel. So when stress, anxiety, depression, or doubt, or any of those negative feelings creep in, your defenses go down, your immune system is lowered, and your health declines. This is why it's so important to pay attention to your mental health, to check in with your mind from time to time. The truth is that mental health is a growing crisis, like I said, around the globe. Because, as you can see, we all can see this, humanity is in this midst of a distressing period, and especially here in our country, in the United States, the levels of anxiety and depression are at all-time high. Between this ongoing pandemic, the economic crisis, the people marching in the street, and of course whatever else may be going wrong in your personal life, what you need to do first is take extra care of what is called your inner self. Your inner self is the one you have to pay attention. So consequently, when we're talking about the mental health, we have to think of the way a brain functions. The brain has numerous hormones called neurotransmitters, or catecholamine, which are amino acids in the brain. And often those feelings of depression, anxiety, bipolar, and numerous problems that are associated with the mental health are caused by, for instance, very low levels of some of this catecholamine, some of these neurotransmitters, like, for instance, serotonin or dopamine. I'm just giving you examples. When you go to a psychiatrist, he will give you different type of medication supposed to actually raise the level of the serotonin or bring those hormones in balance. Now, I know very well, I always recommend people before taking any kind of medication to do a test. And you can do a blood work, but you can also do a urine test, and it's called a Neurotransmitter Test. If you've never heard, it's actually a test that all it does, it determines the level of your hormones in the brain that have a lot to do with your mental health, that have a lot to do with all these emotions and feelings. So sometimes it's good to use the neurotransmitter test that is accessible, and you don't actually have to go through the doctor to recommend one. I used to recommend people brain balance complete test and I recommend lately one that is available everywhere, and is available by Health Confirm, which is a comprehensive panel test, and it's available at Amazon actually. It does cost around $300, but you can get your insurance to pay for it. But I tell you, if you take this test and you actually send the samples to the lab, they will interpret the results. But then you will find out which of your key hormones in the brain are out of balance. And with natural stuff, with natural products, with correcting the way you eat, but especially there are a lot of right supplements. And I can tell you a lot about those things you've never probably heard before. That actually are, all those supplements are all natural. And let's, for instance, you low in taurine, you take taurine. Let's say you want to balance your serotonin, your dopamine, norepinephrine, adrenaline. You want to balance all of those. Then you take something that is called Travacor. And I'm going to go and explain you which one at a time, because I am a firm believer that taking natural things, you can bring your brain to harmony and balance. There is a Latin phrase called anima sana in corpore sano. And anima sana in corpore sano means a healthy mind in a healthy body, reminding us that in order to achieve health on a physical level, we must first stabilize our thoughts and we must master our emotions. Now, your brain controls, as I said, every element of your being. It's the brains of the operation, literally. So I want to ask you, do you often feel anxious or afraid, or just afraid of something being wrong or scared? Do you sometimes get those migraines, hypertension, blurry vision? Or do you feel like your thoughts are out of control, always racing? And I would say that if your answer is yes to my questions, then I want you to kind of stay tuned for this hour of a show, because I want to reveal this undeniable connection between your mind, your body, and what you can understand in order to be able to influence, the way you function, and balance those two sides of yourself. Now, a lot of people talk about the era we are living in, like the time of, or the age of Zoloft, Prozac. And these are those kind of pills that are designed to make you happy, because if you balance the serotonin, you bring it to a good level, then you have a state of being in content. So all of this so-called Zen medication, the calming medication, they create so much dependency, and they make you feel sometimes like a zombie. I mean, I'm sorry to make this remark, but I'm not so much fan of these pills unless really necessary. Every person I speak, they usually come to me, or lately, we do all these virtual calls, and they feel anxious. Sometimes people feel isolated. Sometimes people feel that they want to control their thoughts and they don't know how to do it. And for everybody who go through that general state of mind of feeling isolated and depressed, because in this era, in this time of our evolution and whatever's happening in the world right now, the theory is, okay, stay home, and they're right, stay home not to catch the virus. But if you stay home and isolate, those are definitely, signs of somebody who sooner or later, will experience a drop in the neurotransmitters, especially a drop, in the serotonin level. But if you do that and you stay home, there are five actually, things that are good to your great mental health. And these are the things that I want you to kind of implement on a daily basis in your life. The first thing I want you to to think, as I said, of your inner self, like being kind to yourself. So get the idea of your whole life by paying attention to your whole life, and be careful what you feed in and what you telling yourself, because you're a sensitive being, and like watching TVs every day and just all the statistics can make you feel sad and demoralized about how bad things are going in the world. So when you need to protect yourself, so I want you not to watch all of this information and making you upset, and don't listen to all of these negative voices, because you want to just see the truth. Try to create your own reality by detaching from too much information that comes and is too negative and you cannot digest it at once. This is the first thing I would recommend. And probably all of you know, and all of you will think this way, but I just want to address this. There is a saying, if it doesn't serve your future, leave it in the past. So I know it's easier said than done, but it's crucial to let go of the past. If we can let go of everything that's bothering us, especially lately, or let go of all the fears, all the bad memories, all the traumas you've been going through, because they are somehow buried in your mind and they create that anxious and depressive thoughts. I work with people for many years, and all the time I'm hearing them telling me, you know, I always remember what happened to me 10, 20 years ago, even 30 years ago. And I'm always anxious about it, and I'm always depressed, and I want to detach from those feelings, but I don't know how to do it. And I'm glued to those, and they just kick in. I can't help it. But as I said, you have to find ways, and I'm going to tell you how to do it, to let go and let God, like we used to say. And I love this phrase, let go and let God in. Let the divine, let the harmony, let the balance, because that's what God is all about. You know, in order for you to be able to create that state of calmness. That's why, you know, there is even an app that says Calm, trying to breathe, trying to detach, trying to spend time with your own self, and trying to practice anything that makes you happy, your talents. Your talent of cooking, of decorating, of creating, of producing, of writing, whatever makes you happy, anything that inspires your mind. For me, for instance, I've been a singer since I was 5 years old. I've been singing. So I don't care if I sing in front of a large audience or I sing in my home, in the shower, or singing, because singing releases my stress, helps me relax. So I want you to practice your own talent, because in this way you increase your confidence in yourself, and you bring the attention of yourself to what matters to you most, what you like doing the most. Because about the brain, one thing that I want you to understand, the brain can be trained. The brain can be programmed. The brain, you know, we work on the brain. And we create, by training the brain, clusters of neurons, you know, so we create a so-called habit formation of actions, and this is the way we create dependency of certain action. And so you have to be careful what kind of a habit, a pattern of behavior, in other words, you create. So train your brain to learning, train your brain to gaining knowledge, train your brain to be sharp, to be powerful, and to cultivate positive thoughts. You heard this a million times, to cultivate the positive thoughts. But then in an era we are living in, it's very hard to be just positive like this. You know, you just see something going on, and it impacts your creation of the positive thoughts. And one of the things that I want you to have, and you know very well, and this is something that probably many of you think, is having compassion. I want you to have compassion for what's happening right now, because compassion goes a long way for good mental health. Trust me, it really does. Doing something good for someone produces a neurochemical sense of reward in the brain. Like, for instance, performing a small act of kindness releases something in the brain that is called the good feel hormones. And it releases something that will increase your self-esteem, will improve your overall outlook of life. I mean, I think it's equally important to believe in the goodness of others and have faith in the divine, especially nowadays, because it brings you comfort, a deep sense of security to your mind. Now, I'm going to go and take your calls because we are about to start the part of the show that has to do with me responding to your questions. And I have new callers that I'm very excited to speak with. And I think I'm going to take a short break. And right after the break, we're going to go and talk to Lolita. We're going to talk to Wendy. We're going to talk to Jonathan. So you guys hold on the line. I'll be with you in a minute.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at OMTimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
A social distancing tip.
While the CDC urges you to avoid close contact, like hugging or shaking hands, there are other non-physical ways to say hello. Wave, wink, use sign language, salute, smile, give the peace sign, throw up an air high five, do jazz hands. Remember, stay a minimum of 6 feet or 2 arms length away from others, and stay home if you can. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
And I'm back, and as I promised you, I'm going to go and take your calls. And then after that, I'm going to try to explain to you the link that exists between your emotional self and the diseases that we experience. Because it's very important to understand that your thoughts, your thought process produce emotion. And this is the reason you feel in a certain way. Like you said, you have a negative thought, you start to feel angry, you start to feel afraid, you start to feel sad. And then what happens is that your body responds to every emotion you experience by creating a chemical or a hormone to reflect that emotion. That's why positive emotion create the feel-good hormone, while negative emotion trigger the produce of very dangerous chemical. So I want you to be aware of that, because I know that we all go through a hard time. And I was thinking that for many people, the staying at home period help us go inward, reflect on everything that we needed to change. And in my case, for instance, this time of the pandemic helped me finalize my book that's coming during the end of the fall. And I'm super excited. It's going to be my 8th book. And it's been a long journey for 20 years of writing books. And this is, again, a book that I want to give to you with all my love to help you understand the problems that you might have, when it comes to commitment. The book is actually called Committed, Finding Love through the 7 archetypes, and it defines the kind of an archetype that exists in the world, starting with the narcissist one that we just have, malignant narcissist leading us towards the pandemic. But anyhow, so the body reacts to your emotional state, and if you're sad, you cry, if you're happy, you smile. But the theory goes much further than that. Certain diseases, autoimmune disorder, depression, diabetes, cancer, believe it or not, they originate from the emotion you harbor within yourself. I have tons and tons of patients that went through a horrendous divorce and waking up with cancer 3 months later, 3 years later, or autoimmune disorders. But the more you're emotionally imbalanced, the more your physical self will reflect a sense of equilibrium as well. I'm going to go and take your course, and my first caller is actually Jonathan, and then I'm going to go to Wendy and then to Lolita, so you guys hold on the line. Hi, dear Jonathan. How are you, my dear?
Hello. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. How are you doing, Jonathan?
Well, to be honest, the past a couple of days, I've been very, very depressed.
Why? Because you feel, what are your emotions? Because that's exactly what I'm talking. This is one of the topics that I love to embrace on the show. Yeah. Tell me a little bit.
About 2 days ago, I had a phone call with a person who I thought was my friend, and she thought in the middle of the conversation that I was calling her a white supremacist, which I didn't say that, And then she got mad, didn't want to talk to me. She got off the phone, and it didn't make me sad because I feel like I lost a friend.
Right. So, have you ever felt a sense of such deep depression before, or not really? Is it your first time feeling you had? Okay. Have you ever tried to do something about it or treat this in any way, possible ways? Okay.
I do, yeah.
So what were you ever taking, if anything?
I take Lexapro and then I take lithium.
Okay, so you do take. Okay. There's a lot, because I'm a firm believer that there is a natural treatment to everything. And if you're still on the medication, it doesn't hurt to... Have you ever done the Neurotransmitter Test, the one I'm talking about?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I would love to see you, and I'll interpret it for free. I'll help you if you want to take it. So it's a very easy test. If you send me an email, I'll send you a link where you can get it, and we can get the insurance. Do you have insurance?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I don't have any insurance.
Okay, so then you will have to pay for the test, but I will guide you to find out where exactly in your brain there is a problem. I don't believe that we should take medication just like that without do you feel a difference if you take Lexapro?
Yeah, I feel a difference. I mean, I feel like sometimes I think the problems that I go through, they're like big problems. It seems like, I just want to lay down in bed. I mean, I feel like everybody's been telling me that, if she was a real friend, she wouldn't have reacted that way. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah,
but you can't allow yourself, to be so affected by somebody who proves not to be your friend. It's obvious that person doesn't know exactly who you are. It's hurting your feelings. It's hurting your soul. Is putting you in a very bad position. Is insulting you in a way. So all of these negative feelings, you're not supposed to allow them to hurt you, and to hurt you up to a point in which your brain responds. Like I said, to every negative emotion, the body creates a chemical. So in your brain, in the chemistry. The chemical side of your brain is affected by all these thoughts and all these feelings and all these emotions that make you feel the way you feel. And then, like I said, how you feel what you feel determines how you feel. So your feelings being bad, of course, and created by this person, and you allow those emotions you take them in, you allow them to affect you. Because it's a normal process. We all we respond to emotions. We respond. And your response is, of course, not a good response. And what it does, it really affects your health. And I don't want your health to be affected by nobody. I want you to bounce back, and I want you to, and of course, if one day you ever consider to do a neurotransmitter test, I will interpret it. It won't cost you anything. It's going to be my treat to you. And consider something that I want you to look into that is called Travacor. Then look into Bacopa, B-A-C-O-P-A, ashwagandha, L-arginine. These are all natural. Taurine, these are natural stuff that you can take, regulating the chemistry of the brain in the most natural way. No side effects, doesn't affect anything. But it does something good. You might sleep better, you will relax, your body is not going to respond negatively to emotions that you have to go through. So if you want, I can even send you a list of some of this. This is very, very important, because it cuts it cuts on your negativity. It just supports that positive mood, supports the focus, supports many of the function of the brain to be in place, in harmony. So think of this and just Google them, do your own research, and you will be amazed to see how many things exist out there that are made of plants, that can actually regulate the brain chemistry. I will not consider having this person as a friend anymore. I will not respond to the negativity of this person, but I will not allow this person to affect me anymore if I were you. That would be my advice. Do you have a question regarding this? Do you have a certain way of asking me? Because I personally will take a step back from being in communication with somebody who makes me feel bad and wants to hurt me, with such ferocity. It's just sad to see this happening.
Yeah.
People release their own negativity into others, unfortunately. We used to say that you do to others what has been done to you, and I consider the person doing this to you is somebody who has been emotionally abused, has been emotionally going to her own problem, and she finds ways, to release it into your life, and you don't allow that to happen. So try to regain your sense of self and look into everything that I'm telling you. And I feel very strongly, intuitively, I feel that one of the things I'm recommended, you will end up taking it. It's going to make a world of a difference in your general state of being.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, my dear Jonathan, thank you for calling me. And here we go. We go into more calls. I think we have somebody new. I believe it's somebody who's never called before. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Wendy from Nevada. How are you, my dear Wendy? Are you with me?
Fine. How are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, my beautiful friend. How are you, my dear?
Fine,
thank you for calling.
You.
Sure.
Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
I have a question. Well, my job is a little stressful because I work in a hospital. So we have to be very, very careful. But the thing is, I haven't been here in Nevada that long, and I'm wondering if I'm thinking a different part of the country might be better for me. I don't know if...
So you think that the situation is stressful for you because the place where you are in itself is more stressful in the medical field. This is your reasoning?
Well, that's stressful. It is for everybody. Mm-hmm. But then you're helping people too, so it's rewarding in that way.
Well, it is rewarding, and I want to thank you for your work and your service for others. It's just so beautiful. It's so, I'm so impressed and I'm so touched by the work that you do. We need people like you nowadays, and you're the most precious for us. But I want you to understand that if you want to, so my thinking is if you want to make a move somewhere else, the question is where? And the question is, are you ready for this move? Is this the right timing to make a move based on everything that's happening around? And do you have a place where to go? So I'm putting all these questions, normal questions, and if you can answer them to me, I will be able to give you more. And also tell me the month and the day when you're born. I want to see if you're in a time in your life in which you can make a move or no.
Oh, yes. Okay. June 3rd.
June 3rd. Yes, you can actually make a move because you're in a karmic year 4, which is supporting your move, So you might feel an intense desire to move because it's a time of movement, of moving somewhere else. It is benefic for you. And it's benefic for you all the way down to the end of the spring of the next year. So if you don't make the move in the next 3 weeks, you will be also very happy making a move in another 7, 8 to 10 months. You'll be able to still make it. So, and make it in the right timing. Like we used to say, life is timing. Everything is in time.
Yes.
So put me your questions. Yeah. What did you say?
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. Like early next year, sometime next year, save up my money and research.
Exactly.
Where I want to go. Yeah.
That's why I even ask you this. I put this crucial question: do you know where are you prepared? It is the desire. Your mind is thinking, it's projecting something. Your mind wants, but in the real world, you might need time to make that happen. Will you move? Yes. Is it going to be tomorrow, like right around? No, because you need more time to prepare for this. And I feel like when you're going to make the move, it's going to be a perfectly orchestrated move, and you will know exactly what to get out of this move, so that you make the move the most positive decision you had in a long time.
Yay. That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, my dear.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, my lovely Wendy. Call anytime and let me know how the move goes. And I think that when you move, it's always, making a move, it always comes with the other positive decisions that you might have as a result of the move. So you might meet extraordinary new people. You have your career will take a U-turn for better. So the move in itself brings a lot of positive changes. It's not only I move, but what comes with the move is very rewarding. So the environment, the situation where you're going, it's way better for you than where you are right now. So contemplate the details of it, and it's going to be a tremendous success for you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, my beautiful Wendy. Okay, bye, dear. Love you. Okay, I'm going to go to Lolita. Hi, my lovely Lolita. How are you, my dear?
Hi, very nice talking to you, Carmen.
How are you, my beautiful Lolita?
Oh, well, look, I'm kind of worried now.
Why?
I went to the doctor today, and she said that, and I feel something in my stomach. So, yeah, she said I have a mass or lump, and tomorrow I'm going to do a, how you say that?
A TC scan? A scan?
Yeah, no, a scan, but the other one is like...
an MRI?
No, not MRI. The other one. Well, so I'm so worried. Because
a CT scan?
No, not CT scan. The other one is
no.
like... no, it's not a scan. It's just...
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to do that test tomorrow, but I'm so worried about what could it be, and I'm really, really worried about because
Where is it located?
In my stomach, the upper part of my stomach.
Okay.
Oh, and I can touch it. It's like it's like the size of an orange. You can see clearly in my tummy this thing.
Right. I don't feel it. It can be a deposit of something. It can be a mass made out of fat or something. I don't think it's anything cancerous. Do you feel it for a while? Because I think it has been there for a while. Does it? Do you have any reaction of the body? Anything?
I felt this big thing like a month ago, but like a year ago, the doctor says that it's like the movement of if I don't, it looks like if I don't go to the bathroom frequently, so I have a lot of this thing inside of myself. But I go to the bathroom and it can be easily, but now probably since then, she felt that I have a lot of this thing that my stomach couldn't that I can eliminate all of this. So
I don't feel this is anything to be worried about. I just don't feel it. I go by my intuitive mind. Of course, I'm not having any tests to see or anything medically to look into. Then I just go by my own intuitive mind, and what are you describing to me? It feels like it's more the positive, something that is definitely not dangerous.
Okay,
so thing can be, you know what I mean? Can be happening in the body, and that are not necessarily affecting. Otherwise, do you feel okay, generally speaking? Do you have any major symptoms?
No. I'm fine.
Yeah. If there would be anything, the body will respond to a major problem by symptoms. If the body is asymptomatic, and the body doesn't show symptoms, think a little bit logically. It means that there's nothing to be that worried. So that's the feeling I have. Like there is something there that can be accumulation of non-dangerous accumulation of fat sometimes. There are things that are released in the body, in different parts of the body. How was your diet lately? What have you been eating? Because I feel it comes from the food, believe it or not.
Oh my God, I feel so bad. I'm fat, but I lost like 3 months ago 20 pounds. Then I began eating again, and I again lost like 30 pounds.
Right, you see, so it's believe it or not, it's food related, and it's exactly what I said. It can be emotional because all of us collectively have been through these emotions that are very intense and very toxic in a way. So the body responds to the emotion, and when the body starts to overeat, it's when the response, you know what I mean, to something that is mental, that's emotional, that the body needs to go to food as a comfort zone. The food becomes your friend, exactly like the alcohol can be a friend, the drugs become your comfort zone in life. It can happen. People go to becoming addictive to stuff to release the emotions. So I believe that it is something food related that did this to you, and I think you will lose the weight that you want to lose, and I strongly believe that you will get better right away. I don't feel I don't even feel you should touch it. I want you to call me back on the show and let me know how things go. After you do the test, and what is the doctor's interpretation, what is his understanding, and we'll put together the medical results with the brain having this ability to see what's best, what is the best course of action. But I am very confident, and usually if I feel something wrong, I will tell, but intuitively I don't think anything major is wrong with you. I also think you're going to drop again pounds. And make a list of what you eat and pay attention to what you eat, because I feel it is coming from food. And I will go, if I were you, to I will stay away from some products that are too heavy. I will stay away from too much fat. I will go into some kind of a Mediterranean diet, with a lot of vegetable, a lot of olive oil, and try to regulate the function of the body. Start losing again those extra pounds that you don't need, and your body will regain the stability and the balance without an intervention. I don't feel you should do an intervention.
Okay, great.
Okay, my beautiful Lolita, you will be perfectly fine. You will be perfectly fine. I love you, my Lolita. Thank you for calling me.
And my daughter loves you. You cannot imagine how she feels. She calls you every time, and she feels so happy with you.
Okay. I love you, my beautiful friend. Thank you so much for calling me. I'm looking forward to speaking to you again right after the results. Okay.
I will thank you, my dear. You have a great night. Love you.
Okay, beautiful. You too. So we're going to take a break. Everybody listening, we'll be back in a minute.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
I'm Kathy Williams, host of Sexy Mom Abundant Life radio show on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. On the show, we explore living abundantly in every area of your life. Ways to let go of limiting patterns and beliefs and to step into the flow of creativity and possibility, knowing you are supported by the universe.
I am Fidel Munshambo. I was born in a city called Bukavu in the Congo. We were a loving family, and then, boom, everything that I had disappeared in a single day. People think that when you are a refugee and they resettle you to America, and all your problems are done. They don't understand that that's the beginning of everything. I was not born a refugee. I was made one.
It's time we welcome refugee families with open arms. Learn more at embracerefugees.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
And I'm back, and tonight we've been talking about your health, and we've been talking about your mental health, and about the peace of mind, how significant it is to keep yourself peaceful. You know, when we see the world collapsing in front of our eyes, how can we do that? I tell you how can we do this, by acknowledging our emotional state. And it's very difficult when you see the world crumbling to stay calm. It's almost like, feels like impossible. But it's important to acknowledge what I consider the 4 major great emotions. Because there's so much the role of the emotion play in your life that you cannot even imagine. I don't know if you ever imagined the role the emotion play. Because emotions are everything. We are made of emotion. In fact, we come from a drop of emotions. Emotions determine everything we think, everything we say, everything we do, the way we respond to the world around. And as I said, there are 4 major emotions through which we pass frequently. And 4 emotions branch off into dozens of other small emotions. So we are all the time dominating by these major emotions like anger. Now we feel angry more than we actually recognize. And we're angry, we march in the street, and we expect, we protest because we're angry. Even sometime, even realizing anger raises our temperature. Sometimes anger raises blood pressure, putting extra strain on your body. Anger raises, talking about neurotransmitter and talking about hormones in the body, raises norepinephrine, raises adrenaline level. So momentarily we feel somehow like some kind of a adrenaline rush, which explains why we love all these horror movies because we want to go in that adrenaline rush sometime. So in the peak of anger, when the adrenaline rush, we do make incredible mistakes, irreparable mistakes. We scream, we fight, we punch, and we even murder someone. Think about how and why most all non-premeditated homicides occur. When a person becomes angry, or that person experiences an emotional subset of anger such as rage, and their adrenaline level bursts out of control without thinking, they grab an object, they grab a gun, and attack somebody. And I use this extreme example because murder is what? Is the epitome of anger. But the adrenaline rush fades quickly, and then leaving the angry person to question, what have I done this? Because, believe it or not, anger is a contagious emotion. You see 3 people marching in the street and you want to join them. Because anger is such a contagious emotion. It spreads around you like a virus. Putting other people in an angry mood too. You're angry, you make everybody angry around you. If they can't control their emotions. So that would be the number one dominant emotion that people can have, is actually anger. Another interesting and powerful emotion and extremely intense is hate. Now, I'm going to tell you, right now we hate the way things are. We hate many aspects of our lives. We feel how unfair the world is, and we begin to self-hate where we are unable to achieve what we want. Now, hate and anger go hand in hand. When you hate something, you're angry at it, and vice versa. But unfortunately, hate lingers in your system longer than anger. Anger is like a peak of emotion followed by a crash. But hate can dwell in the subconscious for years, for a lifetime. For a lifetime you hate that person who did something to you when you were young, or you hate your mother-in-law. I'm just kidding. Some people do. But you may not be angry with your husband who stole your husband many years ago. But the hate still remains deep within. In very important cases, you need to acknowledge what hate can do to you. It's very important in many cases to heal what hate can do to you. And respond to hate, not with more hate, but with trying to balance out that negative emotion. Now, the third emotion that I consider one of the most common emotion and the most responsible for holding us back from reaching our potential is fear. I mean, if you look at the world today, what's our worst enemy right now? Right now is actually fear. We fear something, we build a blockage in our minds. We fear this virus. We are hurting ourselves by being afraid, so virus becomes way more powerful. We fear we can't get a better job, so then we block ourselves. Because fear won't allow us to even look for a new job. Fear represents something that represses our creative nature. Fear restricts our positive action. Fear narrows our field of possibility. Fear allows those who are in power to remain in power. Because we fear standing up for ourselves against someone who we perceive to be more powerful than us. Like that kind of a Latin word, divide et impera. So you lead by spreading fear in people. You lead by scaring them. And what's happening in the world, there's such a spread of fear. It's crazy. And fear blocks your future. You can't see anything. It's almost like you wonder whether you have any future, or you're just stuck in the moment and there's no moving forward, contradicting the law of the universe of progress and evolution. But fear is so damages because it doesn't allow us to perceive the power within ourselves. So that's why I think that we collectively need to get rid of the fear that exists in our souls. So let's work in overcoming the fear so we can beat this virus, we can beat the situation we are in, and we're just turning around in circles, not being able, to get rid of the fear. And fear is actually the virus right now and is our worst enemy. Now I'm going to go to an amazing emotion, which is the only emotion that conquers the other dominant emotion. So there are these 4 emotions. The 4th one is one that you probably guess is called love. As I said, is the emotion that possesses the healing qualities, the only one. When we show love, we authentically feel relief from whatever is grieving us. And there is that unconditional love that never fails to pick up with emotionally and physically turning everything around in your life. Think about a person right now in a hospital suffering from COVID-19. Now, studies show that when there's a trauma, there's a disease, you feel quicker if someone supports you. Now, under the COVID-19, nobody's allowed to come closer to you, but if there is at least communication over the phone, or if there is a way, to be empowered by somebody else, by the people taking care of that person, the recovery will happen way sooner. Before this pandemic, if somebody was sick and the loved ones surround that person got better way, way faster. Now, ideally, we should spread love to others, despite what they may or may not feel for us. And I know this is hard to do because we want to, manifest those emotions, and we want to show emotion of love in a more intense way. But one thing that I want you to understand is that we experience emotion every day, and every day there are tons of emotion. We are living a roller coaster of emotion. So our emotion can range suddenly and drastically, can change suddenly or drastically. Regardless, we each feel one dominant emotion during the day. So what I'm going to give you now is to help you stabilize your mental health. I'm going to guide you how to identify your dominant emotion that you feel most throughout the day. And it's important to identify which emotion is actually blocking you, which is the emotion that you need to work on. Because as I said, you respond to that emotion. Your brain responds to the emotion. You release specific chemicals because of that emotion. So I want you to have and take a notebook and write on it emotional diary. Every day you write what emotion is dominating you. It could be a notepad, or you can write it on your cell, or it could be, you can write anywhere, every single day, your single emotion that you feel from the moment you wake up in the morning. And you need to observe that writing down everything that exists within you will continue to manifest. For instance, do it for 1 week, constantly jotting down your emotions. Revisit then your journal, revisit your journal entries, and then you will notice which emotion comes up more frequently. Is it bitterness? Isn't hate? Isn't envy? Isn't feeling down, like feeling depressed? Isn't joy? Isn't fulfillment? Is it inspiration? Is it the dominant, the most powerful emotion of all, which is love? Which one you experience during the frame of a week? You might be surprised which side wins. So you might be surprised. I want you to test yourself. This test doesn't cost anything. This is not a neurotransmitter test. This is an emotional test that you can do for yourself. And I want you to try to specifically pinpoint which negative or positive emotion you harbor inside during this 1 week. And pay close attention to the source of the dominant emotion. And if you identify the source, then you'll find all the ways, you know what I mean, to heal yourself and address the cause of it and eliminate. It's like going to the root of the problem. You know, if you take an antidepressant, you don't go to the root of the problem. You just try, you know what I mean, to treat the effect, not the cause. So that's why I want you to understand how significant it is to break cycles of negative emotion and to understand how emotion manifests at your cellular level, deep inside you. I'm Dr. Carmen Harra, and I'll be with you next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on OMTimes Radio. And to your emotional healing self, I want to thank you for listening to my show, and I hope that you will this way learn to control all your feelings. I'm very grateful, and stay positive, and always remember, peace of mind and your mental health is the most important. Thank you for listening.